Why not? Yeah, shit, man. I came running in the door like, oh shit. Then I saw your message and was like, oh fuck, I thought I sent that to him already. And now I'm trying to
Yeah,
figure
no.
out where the
And
fuck
I
did I
think when
send
I
it?
popped in there, I saw it there for like a split second and then it like disappeared. I think Instagram was like doing something funny.
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, see, I was like, yo, I know for a fact that I sent that. But I was like, man, maybe I didn't. So I'm glad I still had it saved on my clipboard so I could just, you know what I'm saying, shoot it right back
Yeah.
to you.
Sure.
What the fuck is my okay? I had to plug my phone up here. All right, I'm doing the most. I'm tripping. Okay. Oh man, shit. All right, there we go. Now we're down a bit. I should take let's take the fucking glasses off, dog. Yeah, there we go. All right, much better. Now, ta-da! Ladies and gentlemen, how y'all doing? Welcome back to the party. Of course, you know what it is. You see my face. Eden Matassas is not here. Mojo Barnes is not here. You do see the picture. Turntable in the back. So you know what time it is. We're getting on that hip hop shit. Welcome to Side Barz. I'm your host, Seven Da Pantha, aka the Carolina Hurricane Ridiculous Slang, aka your baby mama's favorite rapper, aka a whole lot of other shit you shouldn't call me to my face unless your knuckle game ill. And you know, on Side Barz, we don't bring you nothing but the dope. And today is no different. So we've had a lot of MCs on. We've had a lot of had a couple of producers on. We've had, some people, different people from the culture, but it's very rare that we have somebody on that does both, among other things, and does them both very well, for that matter. Producing and MCing at a high level at the same time is not always an easy thing to accomplish. So kudos for that.
Appreciate it.
Today, I'd like to introduce y'all to my man, the Apostle. Representing none other than 253. I know what it is. Beat Armada in the building. What's good, family? How you living?
Yes, got to beat Armada in the building. Yes.
No doubt, man. What's good with you? How you living?
Man, just grinding one day at a time, man. You know how it is with
That's
this
all we
shit.
can do. Hell yeah, I feel you, bro. So like,
Stop.
uh, let's see. I gotta start this at the beginning because there's a difference between you and most of the other people I've had on the show. A lot of people I had on the show, like I've known them for a really long time, or you know what I'm saying, we have some shared history somewhere. I mean, of course, we do at this point have some shared experiences, but like
Right, but not very. Yeah,
yeah. So tell me how Trenton became the Apostle. What was your hip hop journey like? How did you get into the game?
man. So let's see, man. To dial it all the way back, like when it first started, I started making beats. I was probably like 16,
No
and
doubt.
now I'm 37 now. So that was like 21 years ago. So I mean, it was a while back. Um, it was me and actually, funny thing is, man, my stepdad that I lived with at the time, he was like super good with computers and stuff like that. Like right at the internet starting all that type of stuff.
No doubt.
So he had like pirated FL Studio. Back then it was called Fruity Loops and it was
Fruity
FL
Loops.
Studio 3. So we're on 21 now. This was back when 3 had just come out. And he already knew I was into music and stuff like that anyways, because I played the drums growing up, that type of stuff. Um, and so he was like, hey, I downloaded this drum machine program. He said, you might want to check it out, man. And so I started messing with it. And me and my homie Casey, we kind of just taught ourselves how to use this shit. And, a few months later, man, we were making beats. And I did a lot of songwriting as a kid. I was more into rock as far as my songwriting went. And when I started making beats, I hadn't really met a lot of people that rapped at that point in time.
Right.
And so I started rapping myself more or less out of a necessity just because I wasn't really in the scene at that point. And so I was like, I want to hear some lyrics over these beats. So that's kind of how I got into actually rapping as well. Obviously I'd listened to a lot of music and stuff like that. So, that's where a lot of the influence came from. Like my production style really came from a lot of down south music. I was really into like UGK, 3-6 Mafia. Obviously then, the early 2000s when Little John came on the scene, the 808s.
Yes.
Kind of blew my mind. Especially with my rock background as well, too, because it was like really heavy hitting, kind of like metal was, where the instrumental itself was very powerful. And it took me a while, through the last 20 years to where I actually started to appreciate the beat less and appreciate the lyrics more.
Mm.
Which is kind of something I pride myself with, as far as my writing style goes, is to make sure there's some sort of message in the music. You know, obviously you were into more lyrical music as well.
Oh yeah.
I like the sound of a lot of new shit. You know what I mean? I like some of the newer shit. I'll jam some Future and some other shit like that. You know what I mean? And some of the auto tune, and I fuck with the auto tune myself more just from a sound standpoint. But like my favorite MCs are very lyrical people.
So
My top three that I call it, that's kind of like my Mount Rushmore for my personal hip hop journey, is Immortal Techniques, my number one. Locksmith, my number two.
ooh,
And then number three is a battle between B.O.B. and Russ for me.
wow. Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
and them, not even necessarily, not that they're not both really nice lyrically, but I just like how they operate as people, and the kind of principles they stand on.
No
Um,
doubt.
and that's kind of where it is with Immortal Technique for me as well too, because he was like, the first person that I really connected with, because I've always been kind of rebellious myself, um, who was really like putting some shit out there and not like kind of saying some shit. Like he was just straight up going in and saying, fuck
Yes.
the government, fuck the bullshit. We got to tear the shit down and, do something different.
I'm actually doing a show with him in Seattle in May. I can't remember the date off the top of my head, but yeah, like that's always been on my bucket list to do the rock with IT, because
Oh,
he's well, like the first time, like I had never heard of him, and somebody was like, "Yo, I'm gonna turn you on to Mortal Technique." I was like, "Look, dog, I don't got a whole lot of time. Play me one song." And he played "Dance with the Devil," and
oh yeah.
I was hooked ever since. I was like, "Oh shit, okay, it's like that. Okay, sign me up."
Yeah. Yeah. No, he's my guy. And it's crazy that he stayed at the top on my list for so long, because he ain't dropped an album in like 15 years.
That part, yeah, that part. I think if I'm not mistaken, from what I heard, just when we were doing the talking, conversing about the show, I think he's about to start dropping new music.
I think.
Um,
And see, that's the other thing about him too, is like even throughout that, I followed his journey, just because of how much stuff he actually does. He's one of the few MCs that I've seen, anyways, that really practices what they preach. He's really out in the streets. He's really feeding people. He's really doing community work. He's really like,
yes,
not going to go buy a watch. I'm not going to go buy a chain. I'm going to go put that money somewhere else. And be about the people that I say that I'm about. Um, and so, respecting how he moves is really kind of how, it's kind of shaped my mind. And that's something, I think I learned from KT back in the day, to get back to the hip hop.
KT.
I want to say probably about 2009 when I met KT, and he used to come through the crib all the time. And, I was just making a lot of shit back then, rapping, just saying whatever on music. You know what I mean? Like I hadn't really kind of figured out where I wanted to go with myself. And he kind of sat me down and it's like, you got to kind of figure out what kind of artist you want to be. And
Thanks.
so, with that, that's kind of molded my direction, to where I'm at right now. Is I kind of decided like I want to be somebody who stands on what I say I stand on. I know to a lot of people, you see, you get thrown around all the time where to them, music is just entertainment or whatever else. Like you can be an actor, it's okay. They compare it to movies, but I feel like hip hop is so much different than that, because you're portraying this person. Um, and at least the people on the outside think that you're this person. So if your music is all about, death and destruction to the community and glorifying all the things that, end up hurting other people, and that's not even something you actually do, that's kind of ridiculous to me. I
And
don't
that,
have
yeah,
drill music and shit like that or whatever else. If that's what you really are about and that's what you do, go ahead and talk about your life or whatever. But if you're acting as if somebody, and you're molding an impressionable mind with the negative music, then that's really kind of sad to me, because it's not the same
Thanks.
when you're watching a movie. Okay, this is acting, whatever, whatever. When you're listening to music, you're in your headphones or you're driving in your car, you're actually carrying out your activity. So I think the psychology is different as you're absorbing that music throughout, whatever you're doing throughout your day.
Thanks. Yeah, because you don't usually be on the go watching a movie. Like you usually sitting still. You know what I'm saying? It's a whole thing to be in the vibe to even watch the movie. So it's like, okay, boom, I need my popcorn, a comfortable place to sit, and all this shit. But yeah, as you running around and you moving throughout the city and you hearing this crazy shit going on in the music, and then somebody cuts you off in traffic, and now all of a sudden you've been listening to murder, murder, kill, kill all day,
Right.
and now you're in the middle of I-5 about to off a motherfucker because they cut you off. Like
Exactly, because you got that shit pumped up right now. Exactly.
oh shit. So I mean, how did the beat armada start?
So that actually was another thing that kind of formed out of necessity. TDH was working on a project.
I need to talk to him too. Jesus.
So we kind of all got together and had a meeting and shit. And he's like, "Well, I want you guys to produce the beats." And it really came down to me, Cedu, and KT. We were all sitting at the table there, and I don't know, and I can't even remember who coined the term. It was either Cedu or KT. I know it wasn't me, but one of them said, something like, "Oh, it should be like a fleet or something like the Beat Armada," and that's kind of where that happened. And so after we finished up,
That name is
EDH's project, we just kind of kept operating as a unit and moving. And KT, a lot of it, he kept being the face of everything. He kind of took the brunt of all the PR and the having to meet up with everybody. He was already pretty well connected with a lot of people though too. But he was the guy who was always out and about, and Cedu as well. um I was kind of blessed and fortunate that they kind of saved my spot in reserve, because I was going through a lot of shit myself, dealing with alcoholism and everything else, where I was kind of out of the loop for quite some time, just kind of destroying my own life.
oh
And
man.
it wasn't until I got clean 3 years ago that I really just came back with the vengeance and decided, enough with the bullshit, and I kind of told Mike or Cedu and KT, I was like, this is it for me. I don't have any other plans. There's no backup plan for me. I have been, I haven't worked a regular 9 to 5 in 10 years. I have no
Wow.
I don't even have my GED at this point. I mean, I stopped going to school, moved out of my house when I was 16. So I don't have any fallback besides working some dead end job that I hate for the rest of my life. And I refuse to do that. I'm not going to. So at this point, it's just grinding and hustling and pushing the music and doing other things in between to make end meets. Me and my wife, we do a lot of DoorDash deliveries, that type of shit when other business isn't there,
Right.
as we build everything else. But that also allows, for a more flexible schedule. And then the other thing, man, is, not only the support from them, but the support that I've had from my wife this entire time. I see a lot of dudes that are in these situations where their significant other isn't about the music or the life that they're trying to live. And that becomes a major barrier for a lot of people. But
Thanks.
she's, 1000% supportive this whole time. I mean, so much so that she's worked a regular 9 to 5 to keep this shit afloat while I try and pursue this other shit. Um,
That's
and
big.
on top of that, now going to school to, learn cinematography. She's about a year into school now. So she started shooting my videos last year, and she, kind of liked it. And I was like, maybe you should go to school and really, learn how to do this shit. So now she's, in there getting her digital cinematography degree to help make this shit all.
Mm, that's dope, yo. That's super dope. And yeah, you're right. It's something that I noticed throughout, not just since I've been here, like in my whole journey in independent, being an independent artist has been a lot of people that I saw that were really talented. And the reason why they eventually either fell out of the loop or we didn't see them for a while, and then they come back, and it was like really sporadic how much they put music out. And a lot of that was because they didn't have that support system there. So like, you
Right.
know, it was kind of like, bam, yeah, I want to do this, but like my wife barking at me about da 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 da, so I got to go to work and I can't come do the show tonight, and I can't come to the studio tonight. I got to go, and I'm like, damn, I hate that, man. Like, I think one of the things, and I said this about you before, like I go hard. You know what I'm saying? I'm most people think I'm pretty prolific as far as how much music I put out. Um, but I was like, yo, if I had to be honest with myself, if I look back the last couple of years, Apostle's been going insane. Like this is crazy. I didn't
Yeah,
even know
right.
that it was like this. But like so, but before we go there, I do want to ask this because it is something that I've noticed. Was it TDH or was there another local artist that kind of flipped the switch for you to say, oh shit, like maybe we could do something with this here. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, maybe I don't need to go somewhere else. We could do it right here. You know what I'm saying?
I'd have to say KT, man. He's always had some belief. And I don't think you'll meet another person that cares about their city as much as he does.
Mm-hmm.
Like, to be honest, he really, like, it's all about Tacoma. And see, I was a newcomer to Tacoma when I came. You know, I was 18 when I moved to Tacoma for the first time. Me and my girl moved out there.
Oh
Um,
wow.
so I met everybody. You know, I was already 18 at that point. I moved around a lot as a kid. You know, just between different households, and you know, I was all over the place. I was in California, I was in Colorado, I was born in Arizona actually.
Oh
um
shit.
and then I moved out here when I was 15 with my mom's ex-boyfriend, and he's the one who got me the Fruity Loops actually. And that's actually when I
Mm.
met my wife, who I'm still with. Was when I was 15. We actually started dating back in junior high. um
Wow.
and we've been together since then.
That's crazy. That's
Yeah.
dope though.
So we ended up out there, and you know, being somebody who wasn't from Tacoma and shit, like the people there embraced me. I mean, they embraced both of us. We were going through a lot of shit back then. I mean, to the point, you know, we had just had our first kid. I mean, we lived without power for almost 2 weeks at one point in time, which was crazy.
In there.
But they would come through. I mean, all the people from the neighborhood and the surrounding areas, they bought my son diapers, that type of shit. Like, there was just a lot of love. That's why no matter where I even moved to at this point from my experiences in Tacoma, I'm so tied to that city, because that is the place, you know, the first place in my life where I really felt love from the community, just as a whole. And it just gave me different perspective too. You know, I didn't grow up around a lot of black folks, you know, as a kid.
Right.
So moving out there on my own, as opposed to, you know, the narrative that you're kind of taught as a white person, you know, depending on your household. Not all white people were taught that. I'm not trying to say that, you know what I mean? But where that there's just so many differences, and you won't be accepted there, this and this and that. And you know, you go to a community and you find so much love there. It's a life-changing experience. um
Absolutely.
it changes your entire perspective of how you thought the world worked, and how different you thought people might be that maybe aren't so different from you. And I think that's something I you get from struggling as well, maybe, where
Yes.
there's a point you guys meet each other and realize that, you know, we're all kind of in this situation where there's a lot of people further up than us on the food chain that don't really give a fuck about none of us.
At all.
And so we
Okay.
have together as, you know, people in the lower class communities, where, you know, that we're the only people that we have. So, you know,
Oh yeah.
it's crazy though. The love that I got is like I said, something I'd never felt before. So even though I'm now out in the outskirts of Kent, man, I still travel to Tacoma to do, you know, all of my shit, because that's the place that I want people to know about when they hear my music or they learn about me. You know, that's the place that we talk about, because that's where the journey began, and really started to mean something.
I feel it. Oh, that's you know, that's crazy. Somebody asked me once, why do you rep Tacoma so hard? You're not from there. And I was like, that's where I live. That's where I live. And it's and Tacoma has been nothing but good to me since I got here. Like, ain't nobody, don't nobody hate on me, ain't nobody fucked with me, like nothing. Like, I ain't had no problems here. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's been all good. And the hip hop community, especially, has embraced. You know, like they treat me like one of their own, even though I'm not from here. So it's like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Why would I not rep hard? You know what I'm saying? Like, I might as well. Like, what I got to lose?
And it's just a freaking, like, I don't know. I guess I haven't been to a ton of places in my life. You know what I'm saying? But I can't think of a place that I've been to personally where there is more talent in one spot. Like, the talent in Tacoma
Man.
is astronomical. It's crazy. There's so many talented people out there that, you know, I've had the pleasure of either meeting or working with or, you know, whatever. I mean, just
Real
crazy,
shit.
man.
Real shit. Like, and the wild shit is, and those of y'all that's watching, listening, whatever y'all doing, we're about to get into Tacoma shit for a minute. So I hope y'all pay attention. So if y'all start rocking with the Northwest, y'all know who to fuck with. But like, it was crazy to me when I first moved here. Two of the first people I met were Stewie Newton and Real Cosby.
Okay.
At the time he was going by Star. And you know, they were both heavy in the battle rap scene still when I first got here. So I met them over where KT and Don James had the studio over off
Oh,
of
yeah.
74. I met them right over there because Stewie had a studio over there too. And it was crazy to me though, because what I saw was there are people here who are super duper talented who you're probably never going to hear about because they're okay with being who they are in this environment. They don't care about what somebody in Colorado thinks about their music. Like
Right.
it's Tacoma, fuck with it. I'm good. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So like, I mean, shit. We got Stewie, we got Star, Real Cosby, fucking Don James is one of the most incredible writers I've ever
Don
heard in my
James.
life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, wow.
He says some shit, man. I'm just like, what the fuck?
Motherfucking Velveeta. My God, yo, like
Velveeta, yeah, definitely one of my favorite artists out here, actually. Velveeta for sure. Him, in particular, really is one of only a few, and not discrediting anybody by any means either. But when he sends me a record to check out, like, there's not a lot of people where I'm like, I have no idea how this shit's about to sound.
exactly, yeah.
Him, I have no idea what I'm going to get from him. It could be anything. Because the
It could be
dude,
boom bap, it could be some drill shit, it could be whatever.
exactly. So it's kind of an anticipation, like, what is this one going to sound like? You know what I mean? Or it's just
Yes.
got a mixed bag,
Dang.
do a lot
I
of different things.
love that dude, man. I guess who was it I asked that question? It might have been Anthony Danza. Was it Danza? No. It was somebody from Tacoma. I said, give me your Tacoma top five. And he got through like four. And when he got to that fifth spot, he was like, damn, it's so many motherfuckers. Like it's hard to solidify that top five with just local people. But I mean, I guess so. Here's my question: with you living in Tacoma, right? Like most people from the outside perception is that Seattle is people automatically assume when I go somewhere and I'm like, yeah, I'm from Washington. Like Seattle, they're
Right.
like nah, Tacoma. Yo. They're like, okay. Have you met any resistance in your movements in the industry or in the game since you've been in the game and really making moves? Have you met any resistance because it's Tacoma and not Seattle or anything of that nature?
Not really. I've been in a couple situations where people didn't know where Tacoma was, and I just had to explain it to them. You know what I'm saying?
That
I
part.
remember. All right, so we were out picking up my homie from the airport out in LA. This was probably like, I don't know, 12 years ago, and we were out in Compton, and I was copping some weed from some dudes I didn't even know. Right, they was chilling out in front of the quarter store. I just got some alt liquor. I was like, oh, I know these dudes got some dro. They're smoking. I'm like, I'm gonna go see if I can get some. And they asked where I was from, and I was like, shit, I'm from Tacoma. And I was still living in Tacoma at that point in time. Like, oh shit, Tacoma. So like real motherfuckers, especially on the West Coast, they know about Tacoma when
Yes,
you go to
indeed.
spots. You know what I'm saying? And you tell them, and they're like, oh shit, Tacoma, like because they know that Tacoma's really about that business.
It goes the fuck down, yes.
But as far as like you're just average motherfucker, they not a lot of people do know what Tacoma is, and the significant art that is just in that city. And it's not even just music. You know, you got people like Heyday, you know, making visuals and shit that is just
Yes.
next level type stuff. You got people that are trying to make movies at this point in time. And you got sports players. I mean, just talent across the board.
Yo, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't know Washington had hoopers like they got. But when I moved out here, I was like, dang, yo, these motherfuckers get busy. This is crazy. I love this shit.
All the hoopers that are from here. Because I'm more of just a football guy, but KT's been slowly pulling me into watching the NBA. So he's
Oh yeah. Oh, I heard KC used to be nasty too. Like they was like,
oh
yo,
yeah.
KC crazy with it, yo. I'm like, word? Okay.
Yeah.
That's
He
what's up.
loves basketball. We always go back and forth about which is the better sport. Deep down, he knows it's football, but it's cool.
Now it's crazy. I'm kind of in a weird spot with that because I played football in college.
Oh,
I,
okay.
I could have played I could have played basketball or football. I chose football. So I guess I'm kind of more on the football side. But as far as like observing the game, like just watching it, I kind of prefer to watch basketball just because of how quickly it moves.
I feel it.
Um, but like if we get into a conversation about sports and we start talking, like I can go down a rabbit hole with you on football all day. Like I mean, basketball too, but really on football. You know what I'm saying? So I'm assuming
No,
you're a Seahawks fan.
definitely huge Seahawks fan.
Okay, so who's your favorite Seahawk? Not necessarily current, but all time.
Oh, okay, okay. It's got to be Marshawn Lynch then. I mean,
Thank you.
it has to be. And then a close second for me is Doug Baldwin.
Yes.
Never met little dude with so much attitude that just he take a hit, he get right back up, and then he's a tough dude.
I was a wide receiver, so I got big love for Doug Baldwin.
Oh,
Absolutely.
okay, yeah.
Absolutely.
And drafted dude to come in like that, make that kind of a mark, like man.
You know, the wild shit is, and I was thinking about this the other day. We'll get back to music in a second, y'all, I promise. But I was like, yo, Doug Baldwin was there. They had Jermaine Curse there. All of that transitioned right into Tyler Lockett. Then DK Metcalf came, and now they got Jackson and Jigba Smith. I'm like, yo, Seattle keep fly wide receivers, yo. I don't know who thought who thought they didn't. And I'm talking about way back to fucking what's my man name? Joey Galloway.
Yeah, Galloway, yep.
You know what I'm saying? Fun fact: Joey Galloway is the reason why I didn't go to Ohio State.
Oh, what?
Because I didn't want to ride the bench and play behind him.
Weird. Okay, that's crazy. That's crazy.
On everything, yeah.
That's funny. My grandpa is texting me about the Suns game right now, because he's a huge, huge Suns fan.
Oh man, I forgot you said he was from Arizona. That's right.
Shit, you know what I mean? Just once before he goes, he keeps getting close.
They got a they got a good enough team to get it done. If they just, I don't know, man. The NBA is so stupid right now. I can't even.
Yeah,
my Lakers are trash, so I don't even want to get. I don't even want to get into the NBA right now. But yeah, like that's.
They just played the Suns too.
Yeah, that. Man, I'll be so happy when LeBron retires. I'm gonna just leave it at that. But yeah, we'll just leave it at that. But yeah, so I will ask you though, but I won't say just top 5. Out of MCs you produced for, who were some of your more memorable joints that you produced for people?
Ooh, that's a tough question. I'm gonna gotta be Velveeta for sure. We already touched on Velveeta. He's just one of my favorite dudes out there. I really like, and I'm gonna lump them together just because of the project that we did with them together. Is Cashier and Block Rep Shad.
Woo. Yes.
At Washington Most Wanted was a real dope album to me.
That was really my introduction to both of them. Honestly, that was my introduction to them both.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that Rated R remix and the Rated R, were both like probably the top songs that I felt like I personally touched that I really liked. Just because it was really nice on the Rated R remix to see, and even though the message, I don't even need to get into all that because we discussed a lot of that earlier. However, seeing all them dudes from Seattle and Tacoma work together on that record to get like 15 MCs on there was crazy. And get them shooting all that, like seeing the unity from the state at that point in time was real dope. TDH, just because we've had such a close working relationship for so long. I've known
Okay.
TDH as long as I've known KT. You know, we're going on 15 years now that I've known TDH.
Man, that dude's energy is crazy, yo. I did a live show with him. I was like, how is he not exhausted right now?
And not even artists that I've produced for, but I have to throw Yella in there too, because he's the one who introduced me to KT and all them. And so Yella had, you know, we produced a lot of music together back in the day. I mean, he used to be at my crib like 24/7. It was just nonstop with Yella. So me and him had a really close relationship. We haven't seen each other a lot recently, but that's still my guy for sure. Don James, just because I always know he's gonna put something crazy out there.
Goodness gracious, man. That dude.
The Madlock album was really fire. The Gangster's Honor, that was a great project as well.
Yeah, that's a man. Hey, listen, people, if y'all paying attention, Tacoma got some shit, yo. Like, don't ever get it confused. And that's not to slight Seattle at all. Seattle got some killers out there too, and I don't mean that in the derogatory way. I mean like lyrical killers.
Yeah,
but like
no,
they got some killers out there. Like but I mean like to me, and I said this before, and I'll say it again, and I hope that none of my Seattle homies take this the wrong way. I think Seattle has bigger rappers, but Tacoma has better rappers. You know what I'm saying? That's how I look at it. That's how I look at it. So, you know what I mean? I mean, I might be a little biased because I'm in Tacoma, but whatever.
Let's got Jesse James though.
Very true. Very true. Hell yeah, that's real shit. I mean,
James.
I mean, shit.
Now
Seattle
he's kind of crazy to me too, because back when I was just making beats before I'd even really started rapping, like I had got a hold of some Jesse James music. I was working with this dude. He used to go by G-Con. Now he goes by Barry Bucks.
I know you're talking about, yeah.
He was really close with Jesse James back in the day. He actually recorded my first song ever at his little studio that he had. And I had tossed him some beats. So he recorded some shit for me. My first time actually like rapping. And he showed me some shit that, you know, was totally unreleased at that point in time. We're talking like pre-streaming era, all that type of shit. And I got a hold of some Jesse James shit, and I was like, yo, this motherfucker's crazy. Like, he's going wild. Like,
I like that shit. I like that shit. So who locally especially do you still want to work with that you have?
Jesse James.
Yeah, no doubt.
Jesse James is one of them, which I saw him at a show at the end of last year, and I was chopping it up with him. I'm going to try and make that happen at some point in time, because I really would like to get a track in with him. You know, most people have been really cool about getting on tracks with me that I've sent music to. I definitely need to get a track in with you still. That's just something we just haven't happened yet, but we've tried to. We'll get it in for sure. You're definitely up there though, because I mean, I had heard your music before, obviously though, but just seeing you because you're almost at every show that I end up at, and man, the crowd control, the way that you get on the mic is just such a inspiring to me, because I don't have a lot of stage presence yet, and I don't have a lot of charisma. But your crowd control and the domination of the mic that you show is captivating.
Thank you, man.
Even just, coming from an artist watching another artist perform, it's like, damn, that is a man in the zone, honing his craft at like really the highest level possible.
Man, you about to have I'm too dark to be blushing and shit, but goddamn. That's
that thing, and you're like, yo,
the wild thing is what you saying.
Like, pay attention.
What you saying? You don't have. I think you have more stage presence than you think you have, but it won't activate and turn into what it needs to turn into until you recognize it as that. You know what I'm saying?
I think you're right, because I do. My wife films everything that I do, and when I go back and watch it, I don't feel the same way watching it as I do when I'm on stage, where I'm like, I've got this, what feels like 2 minutes of downtime where I don't know what to do with myself up there. It feels like an eternity, but when I watch it on film, it's like 3 seconds.
Yeah.
And so I don't think the rest of the crowd really notices it. But I don't know. I kind of treat the stage like I treat the studio. I get up there and I handle business. I'm like, I'm here to make this song happen. I'm not here to engage with the people. Like, I don't want to talk to nobody. I just want to get the song going. You know what I'm saying? And when I'm
it'll happen.
I feel fine. It's
Yeah,
that downtime weird for me.
In between, like that was always one of the reasons why my brother AP, whose name is also Apostle, but he goes Apostle AP. We used to do our shows and we would make all of our show tracks with just one track and everything just came right behind each other because it was like, yo, because most of the time when you show up to the show, they're like, yo, you got 15. Like, but if it's like one of those shows where they hit you and they told you it was some one way, but then you get in, it's 100 motherfuckers on the bill, you only got 10 minutes. Okay.
Right.
So how can I get the most out of this 10 minutes? No breaks in between, just bust song, 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 song. And that took a lot of that out of the equation, you know what I'm saying? So
Right.
But then as I started performing as a soloist again, I realized I gotta have time to take a break, you know what I'm saying, to kind of catch my breath and make sure I'm ready to really do this next song the way I need to do it. So then I had to start figuring out what do I say to motherfuckers in between the record. You know what I'm saying? Like, and the big thing usually be something that seems inconsequential, but it perfectly leads into the next record. You know what I'm saying? So like that's but that kind of shit come with time and practice. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't tripping because I seen you perform and I know you crazy. So I know that at a point I'm gonna come to a show and I'm gonna be watching and I'm gonna be like, ha, he fucking figured it out. Okay, that's what's up.
It's wild too, because if you would have me on the podcast last year at the same time early in the year, I'd have told you I had no plans on performing ever. That was my mentality. I'm like, I'm just going to take the internet over. I'm not performing. I have no interest in it. And it wasn't until you invited me to the showcase that I was like, okay, I'm going to perform.
Oh, wow. You smoked it too. Like that was a dope show. And that's the thing. I guess, as far as performing goes, okay, so have you ever performed outside of Washington?
I did one time actually. And it's kind of crazy too, because I didn't have the same kind of like nerves back then that I had. I want to say it was, my son was probably 4. I have to date my time by him. So probably like 11 years ago, I opened up for DMX in this spot in Scottsdale, Arizona at this club. And I paid a gang of money to get on that show too. It was crazy. I paid like $900 to open up. Because I was like, oh, I can move that many tickets. I'm going to take this like upper opener slot, you know what I'm saying? And I moved quite a bit of tickets, not nearly as many as I thought I'd move. So I only made about half my money back, which it was a cool experience either way. It was a nice venue, big stage. Didn't get to meet DMX, which was hella disappointing because he's somebody that sits somewhere in my top 5 as well.
Absolutely.
All time. And, similar to, Immortal Technique and them, the passion that he has. Like, he was one dude where you felt like you was in the streets of New York listening to his shit. Like, there was like, he took you there, you know what I'm saying? He took you on a journey with him to where he was at in his life. And,
yes,
you don't get that all the time from artists, where the passion it really brought you in. It was, I guess the closest to being cinematic that you could get.
Yes.
I mean, he was amplified on the microphone. So for me, not meeting him was kind of disappointing, but he was kind of going through some shit at that point in time. Yeah. So that same night, oddly enough, was when he got arrested in Arizona for driving his car through the fence at the airport.
Oh, shit. Okay. Yeah.
So, but he was like, I don't want to see nobody. So his security came in and did a sweep and made sure none of the artists were in the backstage area when he walked through. They're like, get the fuck out of here. You can't be back here.
Which I guess like this wild though. I got a DMX story too. We was it's this spot called Ziggy's back in North Carolina. It was like the preeminent, especially underground flavored hip hop joint. Like I did a show with KRS One there. I did a show with the Roots there. Did a couple shows with the Roots there. We did a show with so DMX was supposed to be in town and we was opening the show. So we go and we on right before him. You know what I'm saying? So the other couple openers do their thing. We up and we rocking. We get halfway through our set, and the promoter come back and say, "How much music y'all got?" I was like, "What you mean?" He's like, "Yo, some shit just happened at the hotel. DMX might be about to go to jail. Like he ain't coming." He
Oh,
was like, "So listen, just keep going as long as you want." He was like, "Word." We
uh,
was up on that stage for like an hour and a half, yo. Like, because it was our whole crew. It was like 8 of us. So like we could just keep
oh,
swapping
you
songs.
got
Yo, you
that.
do a song now. You do a
Yeah.
song now. You know what I'm saying? So then we get ready to leave. And the people are so mad. Like they throwing shit, all kind of shit. They mad. They mad at us because DMX ain't coming. I'm like, yo, what
Right.
got nothing to do with
Right.
that? Oh, that shit
Uh,
was wild, bro. So I mean, I asked that question mainly because I know that, especially with the way things are for independent artists right now, you know, the streaming game is what it is. Um, and for those of you people paying attention who don't understand what I say when I mean the streaming game is what it is, us as artists make an extremely small amount of money every time you stream a record. So you literally have to stream a song like 1,000 times for us to get like $3 off of it.
yeah,
You know what I'm
exactly.
saying?
It's
So
crazy.
if you don't plan on listening to the record 1,000 times, don't assume that we're getting paid because you are streaming this record. There's Bandcamp, there's other ways that you can support artists directly to put money in their pocket.
Right.
But the biggest thing for an independent artist has always been and will continue to be, in my personal opinion, a live performance. That's where we
It's true.
connect with the fans, we make our money, sell our merch, all of that shit. So I asked that question to ask first, what's next as far as releases go? And now that you got back on the stage and kind of getting back in tune with that, are there any plans to tour coming up?
I haven't made any official plans to tour at this point, but that is definitely going to be coming next. I just dropped an album on the 19th of January, and then me and KT just dropped a single last Friday. So I've got
Yes.
that already. I'm also doing my metal side project at this point.
Mm,
So I've got 2 songs out for that. That's under a different name though. That's under Deep State. So
okay.
anybody heavy metal, go check that out. They're screaming. It's wild. It's very aggressive, and it's called Deep State for a reason. It's all very political. I took all of my politics and I shoved it into my metal music. I hinted some politics in my Apostle music, but I want the Apostles brand to stay more hustle driven, motivational, inspirational.
No
So
doubt.
the Deep State's where all my anger goes and my resentment and my fuck the government shit.
I feel it. Yo, you should do something with Unforgiven on that, yo. That would be super dope.
I actually do. I have Kevin from Unforgiven on the hook of one of the tracks, and he actually worked on one of the first tracks with me. It's not released yet, and I'm actually trying to get both of them to do the second verse on that track too. So we're in the process
Mm,
of trying to make that happen. Because those guys are crazy performers too.
bro. Hey,
Crazy, crazy.
when we was at Relentless, yo, and Relentless was the first time I ever actually got to see them see their whole set. You know what I'm saying?
Me, me too.
I was like, oh my goodness, yo, this is crazy. Like my throat hurt hearing him scream. Like,
Yo, especially when he got down on his knees and he was all ah.
yo, oh God, yo.
Wow. It was
I was like, how the fuck do you do that?
Yeah, it's crazy. I got a crazy story about Kevin too, man. Back in the day before Unforgiven was even formed, I had done a couple of tracks with him as just a featured artist. I was still drinking at that point in time. I hadn't really gone hard. I was just still doing, in and out at that point in time. Anyway, I ended up getting a cat from him. No, that was the first time I met him in person. He had this cat, and he was like, "Hey, man, I'm trying to find a home for this cat." And we went and swooped the little kitten up, and yeah, man. So I've known him for probably like 6 or 7 years at this point. But he said, he used to be in metal back in the day and this and that. And he was just kind of doing more hip hop shit at that point in time. But then the Unforgiven came along and they had this whole sound about them now. And his younger brother,
White
uh,
Bear.
I just dropped. So one of the one that I'm really pushing promo wise off my album right now has White Bear on it. It's called I Gotta, and that shit's a fucking banger.
Fucking White Bear.
Yeah,
That's my guy, yo.
White Bear. Yep. So yeah, me and him got this track together. That's gonna be it. I'm gonna assume it's gonna do pretty well this year. We got to drop a video I had crazier plans for the video than my budget allocates for. I
I
was
feel
trying
that.
I was trying to find somebody to do some animation type shit where it was like GTA style, Grand Theft Auto, like going through missions. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
Because it's
yeah.
a song, I got it. You know what I'm saying? But the quotes that I got for that was like 3 bands, and I was like, yeah, that's out of my price range for sure.
I could almost do a Wu-Tang video these days for that person. What the hell you talking about? Huh?
So yeah, we might have to dial that idea back a little bit and do something different. But
Oh, I feel you. Like the funny thing about you saying that is we was just talking, me and the homie No C from Vancouver, Washington, we just dropped the album February 5th called Lightwork. And one of the songs on there is called Console. And it features my homeboy Mr. Mulholland on the hook. But the whole concept of the song is called Console because video games, they call
okay,
game consoles. And the whole concept behind the song is, girl, why are you playing games with me? You know what I'm saying?
okay,
You know what I mean? So in the video, we was planning on doing some video games. Like the girls got the sticks and they playing the game, but we're the characters on the screen. You know what I'm saying?
oh, that's fire.
But when we started talking about the numbers, we was like, I mean, we can
Yeah,
do it, but it might take a little while. Like, let's do this in installments, motherfucker.
exactly. Can we get a payment plan going for this one? Oh shit.
Oh, I could dig it. So, I mean, when can we expect this video with White Bear?
It's in the works. We just got to get it together. We got to get a solid treatment down though. That's something we haven't done yet.
No doubt.
Uh, I'm finishing up 3 other videos that I was working on for myself, which is the one for my previous album OTG with Velveeta. That's just about to drop. We just shot a video for Gutta. I don't know if you know who he is, D Gutta.
Yeah, no doubt. Absolutely.
So we just shot a video for his shit. That shit came out clean. I don't know when he's gonna drop that, but it's real fire. It was the first time that my wife and I went and did a video for somebody else. So that was kind of cool. Besides KT, but that's kind of like shooting a video for me is, it's more of a family thing at that point.
Exactly.
And then I got one for my song called Busy on the new album and another one called Outcomes with my guy LS.
LS the Zombie.
That's another one I gotta mention. It's my dude LS that I kind of left out. He's probably one of my favorite people to work with still, even to this day. And I've been working with LS since probably 09 as well.
He is a very interesting, very, very interesting fellow. I'll tell you that. He's a different one.
He's definitely different.
I like that dude.
Box, man. He's good people for sure.
Now, you did something smart, sir. You did something smart. And I always kick myself in the ass for not thinking about doing this, previously. But I mean, it's enough people doing it now. I shouldn't. But you got into the merch realm because that in and of itself is more I don't want to say more necessary than having another artist in the pool, because like the only problem with having more artists in the pool is that a lot of untalented people, because of the easy access with technology now, are putting music out at a high rate.
Right.
So it's kind of flooding the waters. But in the merch game, especially if you can make quality shit, you know what I'm saying? You can establish a niche and not even have to have thousands of customers. Like you can have a solid base of customers and have a consistent turnaround with that. So what made you decide that you wanted to get, was it more just for your own personal at first, or was it just something that you decided?
Actually, and it was the show that you invited me to, was the showcase. I was like, shit, I need some shirts, you know what I mean? So I'm looking it up, seeing how much it's going to be to get shirts and all this and that. And I'm like, shit, well, what would it be to just make my own shit? Because then I don't have to keep paying this other company. So what if I take this, chunk of money here and I buy what I need to make for this show? And, I found out that I liked making shirts. So back in Arizona, my uncle ran a print shop and we printed like posters and flyers and that kind of shit. I was a press operator in my former life. And so I kind of got some nostalgia out of printing shirts. Kind of brought me back to that time because I enjoyed that time, in the shop with my uncle working there. And And so I was like, I kind of like doing this shit. I think I could do this regularly for more than just me. And I'm thinking, all these other artists are using these big print on demand companies that don't really give a fuck about them. What if I be that print on demand company, but locally? They don't have to
Absolutely.
pay any monthly fees. I'll put some shit on the website for them. People order the shit. I just send them the bread. That's it. That's all they got to do is put the link out there.
That's fire. And the
But
funny shit about it is,
an inch, and if you need something for a show physically, you can hit me up and we can get that. Depending on what you need. I'm kind of in a place right now where it's just growing, where I don't have a lot of inventory on hand. So I'm usually selling the job, taking money from the job to buy the materials that I need to make it, and then flipping it at that point.
no doubt.
So the only thing I typically keep on hand, and that's more for like hoodies and stuff like that. I usually always have black t-shirts and white t-shirts though. So if you need
Okay.
something simple right now, that I can do. But I'm now
And
trying to get more into the full color instead of just the vinyl game. Because what I have right now is vinyl, which you can do some color combinations to make some cool shit. But like the logo you sent me, I'm gonna order DTF prints for that if you need that. Where I get it full color, where you get the gradients and the shading and that type of stuff. And there's some cool line, because we went and registered as a business. I got my reseller's permit. Made the house a business residence. So we have a home occupation license to manufacture the clothes in the garage there. So with the reseller's permit, I have access to these other wholesale companies where I can get these prints, and they print them up, they send them to me, and then I press everything afterwards. But the goal is to save up enough bread or get enough business credit built up over the next year or two to where I can finance one of these big DTF printers where I can do full color myself. But these machines are like $15,000, so they're not cheap.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna send you a different logo too. That might be a little that's only one color. That might be a little easier to fuck with. But just so y'all know, those of y'all that's watching, when y'all see me out in April, in June, and in September on the Gravitas tour, with the merch that I'll be selling will be made by this gentleman. Well, I'm pointing the wrong direction. Okay, that way. Whatever. Apostle will be the one to do it.
On here, you pointed the right way to where I'm seeing, but that's funny.
This shit crazy, man. I'm trying to tell you, bro. So, all right, check it. Now, I'm gonna ask you the hard question.
All right.
You know a lot of Tacoma MCs. Give me your top 5.
Oh, that's a tough question. That's one of those questions too, because I know how, and I'm one of those people, so I can't even cap and act like I'm not one of those people that gets kind of offended at a list when it comes out. My name's not on this shit. Like, it's funny too, and I'm not going to derive too much from the subject at hand, but 3 years ago when those lists came out, and I was like, why am I never on one of these lists? I realized I'm not on those lists because I don't go hard enough. That's what motivates me harder. I'm like, okay, I'm going to work and put myself on every one of these fucking lists in the next few years, which I finally did make a list a couple months ago. I was pretty happy with it. Some of these lists.
Shit.
And I was like, oh shit, there I am. You know what I'm saying? But I'm still motivated to just get on more lists. But I know people be getting in a frenzy over people's lists and stuff. So I've got to put these two in my top 5, and not even just from a biased opinion and in a working relationship. But KT is my number one, period. He's been that for a long time. Every time KT touches a record, I like to hear his music. He's always got something to say. He's crafty with the wordplay, but he mixes in serious subject matter at the same time. So KT is, and he'll act all nonchalant about his shit all the time, but the fact is, hands down, he's probably my favorite rapper in the state, period.
Okay.
With that said, there's a lot of other ones that are up there too. TDH always brings the charisma. He knows how to make a record, period. Also can touch on some serious subject matter and be clever as well. I'm gonna put you in my top 5, not just because podcast, but seeing you live, because I hadn't tapped in with a lot of your music, you know what I'm saying, previous to the showcase show.
No doubt.
I had heard some here and there, you know, shit that KT would send me, but I hadn't heard a ton of it. But then seeing you live and hearing it, I mean, the shit that goes over people's heads that you be saying is just like, and actually taking that back a little bit, it was actually the first time I really heard you rap in person, was at the Only Summer in August video shoot. And you were out there, Cosby and a couple other dudes, you was chopping it up in the circle. And I heard you like, whoa, this dude's like, because there's rappers and then there's MCs, you know what I'm saying? And there's dudes that really like put the lyrics first. And then that make good records, you know, and there's two different, you know, sides to that. And there's nothing wrong with being it. Like, I consider myself one of the people who make good records. I don't necessarily hold myself to a high MC level. I'm much more direct when I'm on the microphone. I don't have a lot of wordplay and metaphors most of the time. I'll sprinkle some in there. But for me, it's the overall record and the sound of everything. But that also comes from a place of really being on the production side too. So it's how it all goes together.
Let me ask you something. You like Jeezy?
Jeezy?
Yeah.
Young Jeezy?
Yeah.
I love Jeezy.
It just clicked for me. When I heard you say that just now, I was like, I've been trying to figure it out this whole fucking time, and that's it. He's like the white Tacoma Jeezy. That's exactly who he reminds me of. Exactly. Like, without the talk about all the, you know, flipping pies and shit, but just like the motivation that he puts in his music. Like, I ain't even a Jeezy fan like that, but if Jeezy on in the house in the morning, I'm up and I'm at it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just feel like it's time to get to it. Let's go.
Still go back to Thug Motivation 101 all the time. When I remember driving around in my 06 Malibu Super Sport, bro. I just got the CD from Best Buy, bro. And I put in that Thug Motivation and I was like, yo, this is a crazy record. It was crisp. The beats were fire. His just laid back attitude, but still, he made you want to grind.
Yes.
You know, I was just talking to KT about that recently too. I'll be putting them on while I'm out there door dashing and shit. Like, to me, it doesn't matter what you're selling or delivering. You're out there making money. Jeezy motivates me to hustle. Period.
Get to it. Hell yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
yeah,
hold up. You still owe me two more. Hold up. You still owe me two more. That was three. TDH.
Get out of that. Okay.
TDH. Nah, you still owe me two more. Nah, you're not getting them.
All right. I'm gonna say Velveeta.
Good choice. Absolutely.
Gotta say Velveeta. This last one's tough for me, and I'm not gonna, you know, everybody else is close to this top five. Just want everybody to know that disclaimer. I'm gonna put Gutta as my fifth. Because he's another dude. When I go and listen to his records, he's talking about personal shit. He's talking about life. He's not just saying the same shit over and over. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not talking about anybody specifically who does say the same shit over and over. And I really wish I had a top six, because I'd like to put Cashier in there somewhere. And Don James. Can I get a top?
Is really dope.
Top 10.
Yeah, absolutely. Shit, hell yeah.
I need Cashier and Don James in there for sure too.
Block Rep Shad.
Block Rep Shad as well.
He's phenomenal, man. Like, I was blown away because I got put onto the Washington's Most Wanted project. I listened to it. I was like, this is dope. Man. And then I heard him on King Lee's album when it came out. On the you should talk to him. We're gonna throw the chalk around that nigga, put the spark to him. But I've been through many different trenches. Yo, King Lee's, what up, man? Hey, you can keep running, nigga. You gonna get on this podcast one day. I'm gonna get you.
King Lee's is another dude that's way up there.
Yeah. I'm gonna get him one day.
I'm trying to keep it to people that I've got more personal relationships with, because I feel closer to the music with them.
Absolutely.
Not, you know, saying that. I mean, King Lee's is definitely next level as well. So, but I am gonna put Block Rep Shad. I'm gonna put Cashier in there, Don James in there. So I think I'm at 8. I got 9 and 10 left to go. There's got to be you know what? I gotta put I know we don't hear a lot from him these days, but I gotta put Fiesta in there too.
Okay.
I got some
That's a
bangers
good one.
on my hard drive that ain't nobody ever heard, man, that are just phenomenal records that I still be playing all the time. So I gotta put in there.
I can
Because
dig it.
yeah, Fiesta's the guy. Let's see.
There's some dope motherfuckers in Tacoma.
And go back to Cashier for just a second. He is also another one of those artists that's in that lane with Velveeta, where I don't quite know what I'm gonna get from him either. Because it could be some street shit, it could be some sentimental shit, it could be some motivational shit. Like it really could go any way with him.
No doubt.
Shad, he's just got that, crazy charisma on his shit, man. He's just super charismatic on the mic. There's just
too smooth, yes.
Never
too smooth.
Never, yeah, you're never off beat, never nothing. You know what I'm saying?
I was like, yo,
yeah.
Talk about in the pocket. He is in the pocket. All the way.
I actually met Shad. I didn't meet Cashier till later, but I've known Shad since 2009 as well. Back when I met KT and all them. Shortly before I moved back to Arizona, because I went back there for a little while with my wife and my son. But I did get to meet him back in the day as well.
Oh. Shit. Okay.
All right, I need one more. I might keep it at 9. And I know I'm forgetting somebody crucial. That's the fucked up part.
I mean, Dre's still out here.
So many to choose from too, though. That's what's.
See, that's why I'd be glad I'd be the one asking the question and don't gotta answer it.
Thing is, with these are just personal. You know what I'm saying? Just like I know Immortal Technique's not the best rapper in the world either, or you know what I mean? Like Locksmith might be though. To be quiet,
he's damn sure one of them.
Might be.
He's damn sure one of them. I can promise you that. God.
But all these people, it's just for how I feel when I listen to the music, and it's not a slight on anybody else. It's just music's so personal. I think for anybody who listens to it, that it's really just about how you feel when you're hearing the records.
Thanks.
So. Or when you're in the studio, or, in your case, when you see somebody live and you're like, wow, this motherfucker's really got some shit like different than, I've seen before.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of which, real quick, and I got to get him on the show soon, too, but I got to give a salute to Cole Z. We did a live show together out at Uncle Sam's, I think it's called, in Spanaway. And
oh, yeah. I did a show with him there too.
My crew had never heard him before. I
was at that show.
We was there, yeah. He rocked. My crew had never seen him, and he was rocking live, and they was just like, "Oh my god!" I was like, "Yo, y'all ain't never seen Cole Z?" I was like, "Yo, Z crazy, yo!" Like, this motherfucker rap his ass off, man.
Speaking of, man, yeah, I'm gonna round out my top 10 with him, man, because I like Cole Z's music. He's got a good vibe, and he's
another one of those that can do a lot of different things.
Knows how to make a good record for sure.
Yeah, we got a little EP coming out. I'm not sure when. It's like a 3-song joint, little 3 joints we did. He produced it, sent me beats. Was like, "Yo, what you think?" I was like, "What you want me to do?" It's like, "You want me to rap?" Like, say less. Okay, that's what I do, bro. Let's do it. So yeah, that's dope. So I mean, I will say this: whenever you get ready to start planning on doing touring or whatever, holla at me. I might have some places I can point you in the right direction.
All right. Definitely.
Most definitely. And we will talk soon about the merch situation. I am still trying to get my numbers and everything lined up. We got a little bit of time.
That goes, man. It's in it. Yeah.
Know what I'm saying? So yeah, definitely, man. Thank you so much for your time, bro. Tell the people how they can find you online so they can make sure they lock in with you though.
Shit. Well, so you don't get hit with the other apostles, man. Just go to my IG or any of the social platforms, YouTube. They're all at the Apostle 253. And I got my link tree and all them. You can find my music from those. If you go to YouTube, it's got all my releases there because it's a artist channel. So that way you can just go jam it on there too. Same half a penny they pay me on streaming works on YouTube as well. So
it's all the same. We get the same.
I think I'm giving them too much credit with a half penny, to be honest.
I think it's like a third of a penny, maybe, like somewhere around there. But I mean, And don't get it twisted, people. We talk shit about the streaming and shit, but like, thank you for playing the music. Thank you for caring enough to even turn it on. Thank you for listening.
No, and this is one thing I want to mention real quick too, because I see a lot of artists talking about the streaming numbers and all that. Like you said, there's other ways to get money, and it's not the streaming. For me, I look at the streaming as an investment. It's just an investment I'm not paying up front on. It's just I'm making the music as accessible to people as possible to build a fan.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? So to me, it's marketing more than it is a financial endeavor for me. That's why we have
Yes.
those and merchandise and, you know, hopefully one day monetizing our YouTube channels because that'll pay a lot more. You know, so those avenues are the other avenues. You get a big enough fan base, you pull one of those La Russell moves where it's like, okay, I got this album dropping, go cop that shit on my website. It's gonna
Mm-hmm.
be 3 months before it hits the streaming services. So if you really rock with me and you want to hear this shit, that's where you can find it.
If you ain't trying to wait 90 days to hear this shit, you better come get it now. You know? I can dig it. That's what's up, man. Yeah, y'all already know what it is, man. Pantha Politix Podcast, Side Barz. I am Seven Da Pantha. Make sure y'all check out my man, the Apostle 253, on all major social networks. Follow him on streaming platforms. Make sure you check him out on YouTube. Watch the videos. Support the movements. Artists, if you local, even if you ain't local, maybe you can work something out. Hit him up about merch as well. He does excellent work. When y'all see me out on the Gravitas tour, y'all gonna know because y'all gonna see me rocking it and we're gonna be selling it at the table. So, Apostle, thank you so much, man. Shout out,
Man,
salute to the whole beat armada,
really
yo, for real.
appreciate you having me on here for sure.
Oh, no doubt, man. Tell the family what's up.
Definitely, man.
For sure. I'll talk to you soon, brother. I
All right, man.
appreciate you, man. Peace.